So cybercrime happens to be a rising concern. Okay. And myself already Deepak has introduced. So I also, one more qualification is there. I hold a diploma in cyber law from Asian School of Cyber Laws. That's something which you may consider so that I can speak about it. So talking about rankings, okay, India is ranked third in the world pertaining to number of cybercrime victims. So the amount of cybercrime victims that are rising in India is massive, and this is a source is the Federal Bureau of Investigation USA. So USA is keeping track of all the cybercrime victims, okay, and they have a database which records the number of cases that are being reported in each region. Now the world is divided into separate regions. We have South America, North America, Asia, Africa. So like that, in Asia, India is topping along with China. China also a lot of cybercrime cases, but the victims are rising day by day thanks to the cyberspace being invaded by so many attacks. So now there are different kinds of attacks that happen. It can happen by cyber stalking. Now most of us know, right? We all are part of social media. So there is so many people out there who want to stalk young children who are there. Actually you need to be 18 to create an FB profile, but there are people who fake their age and to just have an FB profile to look cool. So there are cyber stalkers out there who want to take certain crucial information and then even threaten. Now we all have heard about games like Blue Whale and many other similar games which are threatening the youth of today. In fact, I think it is last month that in Kuwait, one particular child fell victim to the one of the game like Blue Whale, and he committed suicide from the jumping off the building. So these things are happening. These are all part of the crimes involved in the cyberspace. So cyberbullying involves also asking a ransom, okay, from innocent people or even adults who are non-suspecting what they are doing on the web. Now, morphing is another victim. In fact, talking about morphing recently, it is even breaking households. Okay, it's breaking marriages. Where one particular woman from Kerala, she was morphed and put on a pornographic website, and she had to approach the cybercrime cell, National Cybercrime of India cell in Delhi, to prove that it was not her. But her marriage, her husband left her, and the husband took the child also because of the tainted image. Now, to prove it, what all she went to, it was reported in number of magazines also. From Manorama to their weekly magazine to every newspaper in India was reporting this particular case. So what happened to her image? So it is something we need to be really aware of, who we are interacting with, all right? And what kind of images we are sharing. We should be very careful. It is very hard, but we can at least keep a tab on who we are interacting with. So now malware and spam attacks. This has increased massively over the past decade. Every bank is falling prey to this malware attack, from HSBC, HDFC to Axis Bank. Okay. In the few years back, I think it is 2008 or something, ABN AMRO had a huge scam, okay, of suspected malware attack, and the customer lost around 3.64 lakh rupees. The person who was behind that attack was a 30-year-old man from Bangalore. Okay, they tracked him in 4 days. In 4 days. So, of course, we have a cyber cell in place. We have a cyber cell in place, but it is about how careful also we are. Okay. So the most common motives for cybercrime include illegal financial gain. That is the one of the most obvious motive. People want to gain money from the hacking into innocent victims' accounts. Then revenge, hatred, corporate politics. There are so many reasons. Perverse intentions being one of them. So these are some of the leading causes. Now, the social networking sites. Social networking sites are also key. We need to be careful, right? FB, Instagram, these are all platforms where victims are easy prey. Now, Games like Blue Whale, like I mentioned, is a nightmare for parents. TikTok. Now, TikTok, honestly, for all those of you who are there on TikTok, God bless you. You should really be careful on what you're sharing, because it is being misused by many across the world. Okay, and fake profile of men and women are being created. So when somebody creates a fake profile, what do? You have to report it immediately to the Facebook service, or if they are not taking action, you have an alternate opinion, you have an alternate option to go to the police station also, and you can lodge a complaint, because the Information Technology Act applies, then Indian Penal Code applies. So all these we have to understand. How to reach out to the helpline, I will come to the end of the session. Okay, how to lodge a complaint and reach out to the helplines, I will come to the end of the session. Meanwhile, I'm just telling you telling all of you that what are the areas in which cyber crime happens. So social networking sites, online hate communities. Today we see so much of hatred. Apart from certain news channels, there's so much of discord among people. This sows the seed for disharmony. This is a big issue that is facing all of us who are on social networking, from Twitter, Instagram, FB, or even if it's on LinkedIn. Coming to the next slide, email hacking. This is the most common form. Okay, email hacking is the most common form of being a victim of cybercrime. The details are reportedly stolen and misused, and malicious code is sent to people in the contact list or to the address on the address book. Okay, what is this malicious code? It is some kind of link that is being generated, and once this link is generated, if we click on it, innocently we tend to click on it, it infects the system, causing damage to us. Okay, for those of you who are working in the networking sector, you must have heard about something called keyloggers. Okay, so in this link, a keylogger also can be installed in the victim's computer, and data can be stolen. Most common purpose, I'm highlighting the most common purpose in most of the slides. So most common purpose of email hacking is, of course, illegal financial gain. So multinational corporations are reporting such cases on a constant basis. And of course, India is no stranger to such instances, because Bangalore also happens to be the IT hub of India, and India is investing too much on cyber security. In fact, one of the motives of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is that he envisions a digital India which gives importance to cyber security. So actually, millions of dollars are being pumped by organizations apart. At the same time, government is also investing in cyber security measures. The third one, credit card fraud. Now, card fraud, the modus operandi is, like I mentioned earlier, keyloggers are installed in public systems or the victim's computers. Okay, and never leave your system unattended. What if you do it, even in the corporate space? Okay, I had a client who, of course, I'm not going to name. What happened is he was part of a leading MNC, and he was going to get a promotion, but unfortunately that couldn't take place because somebody installed a keylogger in his system and he was accessing certain objectionable websites. So they were threatening him with that. So at the end, he himself had to leave the organization, and they were also threatening him that let us see how you get your promotion, because we have done certain things, and they were asking for a ransom in the form of bitcoins. So we live in a very dark world with a dark web. We need to be careful with who we are interacting with, and these were his own colleagues. Okay, so we should never leave our systems or even phones. This happened on his Android phone, imagine. So he must have unsuspectingly clicked on some link on his email or something, and then whatever he was viewing, even when he was in his bedroom, whatever he was viewing, okay, they described his house to him. Okay, through his camera they could see whatever was happening in his house. So we got to be careful. We got to be aware of who and what link we are clicking on. So all the information is then mailed to the cyber criminal. Okay, so all his bank details, even his whatever his father had transferred to him also, They told the amount, and they said, if you do not give us some $10,000, okay, we are going to uh, reveal all your details, what you're doing over the web. So this was a major this thing which he had faced. Ultimately, he had to quit the job. So this is a massive aspect of cyberbullying, cyber stalking, and installation of keylog software. So the second modus operandi, okay, mode of operation, that is now petrol pump attendants, workers at retail shops. The card details which we have on the card, on a debit card or credit card, whatever, Visa, MasterCard, they remember it and store it down, and they sell it to gangs who misuse the information for online fraud. Okay, so we got to be very careful. Even the machines that they use, you know, Indians are really smart. This happens all over India. Okay, or in fact all over the world, but in India it is rising. This thing is rising of stealing credit card or debit card information. Purpose is of course illegal financial gain. Now cryptocurrency, they say, is the future of the world. From Facebook, it's investing in Libra. Okay, Libra is a Bitcoin kind of thing. So now everything is going to start. India doesn't have, it was not legal, cryptocurrency is not legal in India, but it's going to be regularized. Okay, it is going to be regularized. The Supreme Court has come up with a particular judgment that to regularize cryptocurrency. So the future we don't know. So, but we have to be careful. Okay. Now, online share trading fraud. I know many of us who have an intention to gain through shares, right? So, in order to have be investing in a shares of a company, we need to have a dematerialization account. And that particular dematerialization account, dear friends, is linked with our online banking platform. Okay, when this happens, of course, everything online, always you will leave a digital trail. And if we don't change our passwords of our mobile PIN applications, it leads to the further problems. And this online share trading fraud, the increase in number of share subscribers have led to also increase in crimes on trading platforms. From ShareCan, there are so many trading platforms. Okay, there are so many agents involved. We do not know the intention of every agent, because agent will ask for a detail for a linked detail, demat, for a demat account. Okay, the bank will know it, but what is happening online, really God knows. So we need to be careful when trading online. Okay, now moving on, tax evasion and money laundering. Now, I don't know how many of you have read the book called Panama Papers, but Panama Papers was actually a revelation for all those companies who were involved in tax evasion schemes and money laundering schemes. Money laundering, it is like in India, we call it by Hawala transactions. Okay, a lot of black money is involved, and a lot of unscrupulous businessmen, that is the cunning businessmen and money launderers, are using physical storage media. Now there is a particular term that has been coined by the British mathematician Clive Humby. Okay, Clive Humby was the person who coined the term data is the new oil. Actually, data is the new oil or not? It's not the new oil. Is something. It is a debatable topic which I will not get into. But however, we need to protect our data. A lot of us are putting our data on Google Drives and on cloud storage. Okay, is it really safe? I always have my doubts. Okay, so I do not share my personal photos onto the iPhone storage, cloud storage. This is something which I believe in. The rest, it's a personal opinion. So the modus operandi is storing in hard drives, CDs with encryption. There's a 256-bit encryption. You get the Western digital hard drive. It all comes with protection. But trust me, friends, nothing is impossible for hackers. That's how they like to think about it. Okay. So when it comes to money laundering and tax evasion, please note the Information Technology Act does not apply. I repeat, the Information Technology Act does not apply. Rather, it is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act in India and the income tax that is applicable. Okay. It is the Income Tax Act and the Prevention of Money Laundering Act that is available. That is why Vijay Mallya is continuously facing a hard time. We want to get him back. A lot of things have been involved in that. So now source code theft. This is a highly technical aspect of a software, source code. The source code is the brain of a particular software, right? It is the most important asset of a software companies. From Infosys to Wipro to Tata Consultancy Services, the source code is their main chief source of income. Even banks and IT companies are thriving on it. Okay, so it comes under the purview of the Copyright Act. If you ask me what particular section, it is section 63 of the Copyright Act, which protects computer programs. Okay, so computer programs comes under the Copyright Act, something which we should take into account. So if you have seen in movies and all, there are some movies which show, okay, where people install USB and take all the data of the source code, and then they sell it onto the black market and earn income. This is common among competitors and rivalry, or even employees who are having some sort of dislike for their management. Okay. Theft of confidential information. The moment we join a particular company, we should adhere to their confidential policies. Okay, we sign certain non-disclosure agreements are being signed out. Okay, so we need to know what can be shared with others, what cannot be shared with others. Like for example, our salary, that is totally confidential information. There are certain banks that, okay, if you share your salary and the manager comes to know it, he will ask you to keep your card on the desk and leave. This has been reported. It's very common in America. Okay, it's very common in America because they take confidentiality, privacy, and related aspects and all very, very seriously. Now we live in a survival of the fittest world. So competition strategies are being stolen. Okay, now certain strategies are very confidential. And if a particular employee who's leaving that particular company to join another company, if he is revealing certain strategies which he is not supposed to reveal, then it poses a massive problem. Okay, that is why NDAs are signed. NDAs is nothing but non-disclosure agreements. Okay, now illegal financial gains or rivalry is a common motive in theft of confidential information. Online sale, next, coming to the next one, online sale of illegal articles. Illegal articles, like how Mohanlal says, narcotics is a dirty business, is it not? And things like this are being sold even on Instagram. Okay, so narcotics to cryptocurrency, weapons to wildlife trade, dark web is actually more evil than we can ever imagine. And it is so sad to, in fact, inform that hackers are actually enticing, they're attracting the youth to commit crimes, and the governments have been warning us all about it. Okay, whether it is playing the Pokemon Go or whether it is having a TikTok dance, we are being watched. And the youth is being troubled by a lot of dark web criminals. Okay, so we need to be careful. Even parents, actually, this is this is very careful. Actually, my sister, for my nephew, she's very protective of what he's viewing, and also what links he might by mistake click, because children nowadays, they all are, born with a smartphone in their hand, so they all want to have a smartphone 24/7. So we need to be careful of what they are viewing. We need to monitor them. Web defacement. Actually, if you look onto this particular point, I'm laughing because the cybersecurity website of Karnataka government is not secured. Okay, they have a lot of resources talking about do's and don'ts, but their own website, which is of National Informatics Center, does it, but that is not secured. Okay, and it is so easy for people from rival nations to hack into. America is actually having a very robust, their military websites and all are really, they constantly monitor it, because they know they will be prone to Russian hackers and steal sensitive data. They know that they will be prone to Chinese hacking attacks. Okay, there is a hackers group called Anonymous. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. Okay, Anonymous. These guys are the kings of hacking, and they are known for even web defacement. When I say web defacement, I've given the definition on the screen, as most of you can see. It is basically the substitution of original homepage of a website with another, which the hacker wants to provide to the viewers. Very common among competitors. Rather, it is common. The governments are victims to this. Okay, they are prone to attacks of online databases. The motive is, of course, thrill or inciting disharmony among a particular community in the nation, or to just create a panic attack for the government as a whole. Cyber pornography. Of course, now women are targets, but so are children. Pedophiles are on the run. There are so many movies that are coming from different industries about children being kidnapped and their kidneys being stolen. So many things are there. So one particular thing is the boys' locker room is the recent example of how students where certain boy students were actually involved in certain morphing, and one particular girl from Delhi brought about this. And think of the impact it has on the mind of a child. You know, as an adult itself, it will have an impact on us if we are being morphed. Or if our fake profile is being created, we cannot get sleep. So think of the mind of a child when this happens. Okay, most common motive is revenge for not accepting advances. So we should protect our cyberspace, who we are interacting with, who we are accepting in. All this should be considered. Suggestions and takeaways. Most of you will be aware of this. Okay. In fact, now even mobile banking applications, every 3 to 6 months, they will force you to change your MPIN, mobile PIN, for logging into your online mobile app. So always have a two-factor authentication in place, not only for your banking applications, but also for your email. Now, Google does have that. Okay, Google does have that. That is why, trust me, it is very difficult to, it's not easy to hack into a Google account. Okay, I'm not saying it is impossible. I'm not saying it is impossible, but it is very difficult. Okay, so never resort to free antivirus softwares. Now, we all want things which are free, right? From the App Store, Play Store, we want free games and all. But what is the motive behind the real developer? God knows. So never resort to free antivirus softwares. Avoid piracy. I'm somebody who doesn't prefer to download music. Okay, when you can stream the music, that's fine. That is why Amazon Prime, Ghana, these guys have and all come together, and actually the government appreciates what they're doing, because a lot of piracy has been cut down. Okay, because everybody can stream the music they like, so there is no question of piracy. Okay, the musicians, how do they earn their money? They earn their money for each stream, for each play. Like Spotify say 100,000 plays will give them so and so amount in their bank account. That's how musicians are earning money. So the world is changing. The world is becoming more cyberspace friendly. At the same time, there is a call for security. So be careful. You are being stalked on social media. Do not share bank details with anyone. Okay, LinkedIn has become a peep into my profile platform. Okay, where everybody wants to see what the other person is doing, probably professionally or personally. That's something which we cannot control. But what we can do is be careful of the information we share. You always leave a digital trail on the web. Keep changing passwords and keep a strong one. So once the bank details are compromised, I do not need to tell you what to do. You need to get in touch with the customer care and block your card. So my sister happened to be a victim of one of the banking frauds. So 250 rupees was the thing. Immediately she blocked the account. So something like that, smart measures we should be doing. So online interaction is totally something which is inevitable. We cannot avoid it, but not disclosing crucial information is the need of the hour. Okay, so we need to be wise in who we interact with and what we share. So coming to certain helpline. Now, how do we launch the complaint? You can visit the cybercrime.government.in for more information regarding this. So all of you can see my screen, right? This is the cybercrime website of the government of India. This is secured, but the Karnataka website is not secured. Now NIC secures this. Now there is a list, there's a plethora of information. So much information is given state-wise. We have from Karnataka, we have for Kerala, even who is heading the division. Then we can mail them. What is the matter? We can even report anonymously. Okay, we do not need to give in, but we can report. After reporting, we can even have an option of reporting and tracking. How to do it, how to go about it, trust me, it's very simple. There is a citizen manual, there are cyber awareness manuals, cyber safety tips. So much of information is given. There are nodal cyber cells. So whatever is the issue, we can report it by email. Always report by email, so there will be a proof. Okay, that's how it works normally. Then talking about the Karnataka website. Okay, we have an amazing library. We have so many resources. Talking about the resources, there are so many acts and rules. Okay, for matrimonial websites, for corporates, if you want to start a firm, what are the now over Zoom, so many hacking is taking place, right? So the government of India issued a guidelines to follow. Based on that, Zoom is operating in India. So we need to take certain precautions, because it is very easy for online students to fall victim to hacking accounts and clicking on link. Today the world is going online. Okay, teaching is happening online. So children, now Karnataka has provided a scheme from first standard to sixth standard. Children won't be having online classes. This is something the Karnataka government has done. Okay, no need to have online classes for children. Rather, they will have pre-recorded videos by the schools, and the school should take the initiative. Don't have Zoom meeting, because so many children are falling prey. So many cases are being reported. Okay, so these are the resources. Guidelines for investigating officers. For cyber cafe, there are separate guidelines. And using cyber cafes also, we need to be careful, because there are keyloggers sometimes unsuspectingly installed by somebody, and they will track all the information, and that information will be sent over the web or over the mails. Now, downloading forms, you want to file a complaint, you can, if it is financial, if money is gone, you can definitely file a complaint of financial. Then non-financial, you can file a non-financial complaint. You can do it all through the cybercrime portal. If you do not have time to launch a complaint, definitely get in touch with a lawyer. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Hey, Cyril.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, so just wanted to ask on this itself, like on cybercrime itself, like how, I mean, just to know, like how strong are the convictions if if you log in a complaint, like how likely is it, like the person is caught or something like that, or is it difficult because it's online and everything's anonymous or something like that?
To be honest, you need to keep all the proof with you. Okay, your interactions with that particular person. Now, you won't believe it. Okay, when I was talking to a recent client, and he recorded my call on his Android phone, and he was like, "This is what we."
Okay.
And well, I was not too surprised, because I expected it, but that one day somebody might be recording. But when this person sent me the recording, so we need to have a sort of a proof. Okay, but there are some times when we don't have proof. So how effective your question is, how effective will the complaint be? The effectiveness will be based on our proof, because the courts function on the basis of evidence. Okay, and one more thing I would like to tell you, not to disappoint you, but there were 356 cyber cases filed in the year 2013-14 or something. Everything was disposed. Everything was disposed because lack of evidence or some particular thing came up. But right now, we have a very strong cell. Earlier, we used not have a strong cell. Let me tell you, one of the best cyber cells in India is Kerala. Okay, this is something which my friends who studied with me, they have been tracking this. That is why that particular lady which I was talking about, whose morphed picture was put on a pornography site where her husband had to leave her, the Kerala police was totally with her. Okay. And there are some times when we're talking about the effectiveness, somebody from political hold will always come and give a backup, but still when we have the proof, or if the case gains media attention, then God save the cyber criminal. Okay, so I'm not trying to disappoint anybody who wants to launch a complaint. Now, like I told you, one of my clients, he faced a cyber bullying thing, but he had a problem in his viewing objectionable content. But he had to leave at the end, right? So we need to be clear from our side, but something like an online banking fraud, which HDFC, like I told you, ABN AMRO, this thing, definitely the cyber cell is with you. Okay, in 4 days to 1 week, they will definitely track. But we need to see what all our communication is. We need to track it from the proper source. Okay, if we are going, sometimes for police stations, they just delayed. In that case, what we need to do, we need to go to the website. Like now I showed you, I shared my entire screen. So we need to go to the website. The list number is listed step-wise. Based on that, we have information of the email nodal officer. Once the nodal officer is getting the email, he has to respond. If he's not responding, you can always send in a letter also. By two means you can do it. You can do it through the web, and also you can launch an FIR also can be done. That is totally up to you. Questioning about the effectiveness, like I told, stronger the evidence, the more effective your complaint will be. I hope you got it clear. Anup? Yeah.
And just to clarify, so in case there is a financial loss for a party, then you mean to say that information tech, the IT Act does not apply, but then is that what you mean?
No. See, financial loss, when there is, I talked about prevention of money laundering and tax evasion. That is for tax evasion and money laundering. When that happens, the IT Act does not apply. Otherwise, there is the IT Act that applies, which is section 66A. Okay, when somebody is sending you some information over your email, then it will apply. And the punishment term is 6 months in jail or a fine or maximum 1 year in prison. Which is totally, in America, it is way more serious. It's like they have more counts. The full legal system is more, advanced. We are getting there. Right now, you see, India, every state, every region is having a cyber cell nodal officer. And all the information is provided. Earlier, this is not used to be the case. So for financial problems also, like I told you, complaint, remember I shared my screen, complaint, you can go for complaint or non-financial complaint. As a layman, without a lawyer also you can file. As a layman, if you do not know, you can ask the officer, nodal officer, he will tell you what the sections are applying, right? Based on that, if you are having this thing, first from which bank account you are having a loss, inform them also. So keep everyone in the loop. That's what, because it's a big circle when it comes to filing a financial complaint. I hope you got it. Yeah, clear?
Yeah, it's clear. Thanks for the clarification.
Cyril, I've got a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you would not prefer uploading any personal photographs or any documents even on your iPhone cloud, right? The Apple cloud, which I think is one of the most secure places. But with the way, with the connected way that the world is moving into, like, your Aadhaar, your PAN, it becomes increasingly difficult not to associate yourself with the cloud, right? For example, I'm a freelancer. Most of my freelance invoices are generated and stored on the cloud, where I go in, and if I need to download them, I download them. And also, as you know, like the Aadhaar verification, the new process that's there, where there's the e-verification thing. Whether we like it or not, our presence is captured and stored online in more ways than we can ever imagine, right? with AI and personalization engines coming in, a lot of our browsing behavior is captured. And we have given consent to that. Not many of us realize it, how we consent to that. So my question is, does India have something around something like GDPR that they have in Europe for data regulation?
All right. So talking about data regulation, Nitin, thank you for your question. You are totally right. Everything is actually onto the information is being shared, and so many information is being stolen. Okay. So I was totally refusing to initially generate my bank account, Aadhaar, so many things, but that is the way what we are required to do. Okay. So there is a data privatization privacy bill that is being considered to be an act. It is right now a bill. Okay, 2019, this data privacy bill has come. Now, this data privacy bill is just being kind of drafted to be an act. Once that's come in, we'll really know what all information should be shared, what all information should not be shared. But talking about your Aadhaar link, that is a total different judgment of the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court themselves said linking Aadhaar is totally not mandatory. Okay, now I don't know if I'm supposed to talk all this on a public platform. Okay, but there is our Attorney General K.K. Venugopal. He is vouching for our Aadhaar to be linked to our social media accounts. Okay, so we need to be careful what we are sharing. Now, trust me, Google knows where all I have been over the past week more than I or my wife knows. Okay, so you decide, you take the call whether you want to share all your information, even on incognito mode. Now, incognito mode is a very complex term. It's a privacy mode. How much details are you given? That is what. No, we are living in a world of upload. Everything is being shared. But I prefer not to give it to my cloud storage. That's all. Of course, certain Pallilola pictures, okay, number cloud storage, other that's fine. Okay, but certain things which we do, like there is Instagram which came up with, post your 10 years picture before how you looked and 10 years picture after, or everything is being tracked for some purpose. So as long as you're not, doing some, your privacy is always in a question, not only now. It has been a question since for the past 2 decades, ever since internet was at the prime, when Facebook started functioning. Okay. And trust me, all these guys, they have definitely, government is watching, because 9/11 changed the world. At the same time, we have our own share of terrorist attacks. Who is doing what? They want to keep a track on. Whether we like it or not, we choose to share, we choose to link. Okay. That's because a lot of tax evasion is happening. So government has its own sense of reasoning. As a lawyer or as a layman, I have my own sense of reasoning. You choose whether to share or not to share. That is totally up to you. Now, your question is very clear to me. Like how in the West, they have a particular regularization, India is also planning to give that, but it is too early to speak on that. Data privacy bill is there on the tables 2019. It's just tabled. That is, first draft is just being provided, and many critics are coming. Like I told you, the viewpoint of Attorney General. Okay, because of the rise in terrorism, they want to keep a track of everybody in the name of that. But what is the ulterior motive? Something which is for a separate discussion, and you can always have it personally. You can take my number and have it personally. I hope that is clear for you, Nitin.
Yeah, I mean, that was clear. I just wanted to know if we have something even remotely similar to the GDPR.
It is in the docs. It is in the docs, but still not fully clear for many people.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Nitin, you sound like you are involved in a similar field. You said you're a freelance, you work freelance. What exactly are you working?
No, so freelance is part-time, but I work with a marketing automation platform. So I know all the things that we take from other people.
So Nitin, your question was really valid actually. In fact, something which I constantly am totally wary of, I'm also reading a lot on it.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of irregularities and confusion around it. So it's difficult to arrive at it.
Every place, every region will have a lot of these. But see, in the West, it is more systematic, it's more organized. And India is getting there. I'm very positive. It's just that how much is being something which I don't want to discuss on.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Any other questions? I mean, Anup.
Yeah. Yeah, Cyril, just to add on that, I mean, so you mean to say like there is a draft of the data regularization or protection bill which is drafted right now. So
Exactly.
how has been how so was there any regularization regularly was there any regulation which governed the protection of data till now as such in India?
There was a list of judgments. There was a list of judgments where the Supreme Court said that, okay, fine, we need to have a law in place. We need to consider, when before a law comes, see, Parliament will decide on the law and judges will interpret it. That is the role of the judiciary, Supreme Court, High Court, is just to interpret the law. And if they will pass judgments are not 1 or 2 pages, okay, they run into hundreds of pages. And this is a kind of suggestion which many judges gave that we need to have, and lawyers also, they file public interest litigations because people's privacy is something to be questioned. So there are a lot of justices, for example, Justice Sikri, there is one Sikri, okay, he is a North Indian judge, where he called that this other thing should be considered, something should be done about it. Then the parliamentarians, they felt that a data privacy bill should be in place, and bill is not passed overnight. Of course, if you have a majority like how the present government have, it will be faster. Earlier it used not be so fast. Okay, so data privacy bill 2019 means because of this year COVID, we are not having it passed very fast, but any month from now, from August, it may be passed. Okay, once that is passed, we will get a clear idea of what comes under the purview of privacy, because the aspect of social media accounts being linked to our Aadhaar, that is something which I personally will not accept. And trust me, there are many lawyers who are fighting against that also. Okay, lawyers like Kapil Sibal and all, they are ready to go for the battle full on. But ultimately, the majority wins. That's what is happening in India. Whether it is a Companies Act or data privacy bill, it is ultimately the Chief Justice of India or the Attorney General which will have a call. Okay. Yeah.
Cyril, can I quickly add another aspect of social media? It may be good or bad, but if any of you have ever applied for a US visa, and I think not just US, even much of the European visas, there is a section where you have to give in every social media, the link to every social media account that you have, Facebook, Instagram.
Do you know when they started coming in? Do you know when they started coming in?
It was recently, right? I'm not sure exactly.
It is under Trump's governance. You know why? Because there is so much of illegal migrants. See, one thing which we have to accept what Trump says, okay, he's not against legal migrants. Illegal migrants. There are a lot of drug trade that is happening from different regions, okay? And they come and they kind of take over the economy. It's like a hostile kind of takeover. So they want to track whether what all posts you have done against United States of America. Now, trust me, Americans are very patriotic. Okay, already they faced 9/11, in the Boston bombings, and 9/11 changed the world. So the Trump administration is taking this, like whatever you deleted also. Okay, whatever you did. So many of our friends are wonderfully, talking about government this and that. When you go to America and apply for a visa, no, that time you will be questioned so much. Okay, that is because it is a necessary evil. It's become a necessary evil to keep track, because what post you deleted might be complete about bombing a total region. That is a terrorist activity. So they will track everything. That's why I reiterate what I said earlier. You always leave a digital trail. Be careful what you post. A Facebook post is equivalent to a newspaper post. Because newspaper post, now trust me, how many people are subscribing for the Hindu or the, of course, there is a large subscriber base. But when we post something on Twitter, there are governments like the Saudi Arabian government and all, they have a public relations office to track whoever you are, what tweet you're tweeting against the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So it's not America is not a totalitarian or police state, but rather they are warning you not to post anything which is, kind of terrorist related on your social media platform. That's why they're tracking you. on your social media. In fact, if you can consider it from two perspectives. One, it's my profile, it's my privacy. Okay, why should the government be involved? But what is happening in this world, we live in a worse world than what it used to be. So as long as I'm okay, fine. If you're telling, okay, fine, Trump said this, that even American citizens are saying. But if you have a particular intention that no, this should be porn, that should be, that's why the attraction. It is, you can have two perspectives: violation of privacy, at the same time safeguarding of a nation's security. This is a everlasting debate, something which we'll not cover in the next 15 hours also. But Nitin, your very valid question. It is actually they're starting to track what you deleted also. They will ask you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I guess there are no more questions to be asked. Thanks, Cyril, for the session. It was really insightful. Your points will be helpful for us to be more cautious since everything's right now virtual. I guess we all should be really careful about it. And thank you for spreading this awareness.
വളരെ ഇൻഫോർമേറ്റീവ് ആയിരുന്നു സിറിൽ. നന്നായിട്ട് ക്ലാസ് എടുത്തു. ഞങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ വളരെ പ്രയോജനമായിരുന്നു ആ ക്ലാസ്. പ്രത്യേകിച്ച് അഭിനന്ദിക്കുന്നു. എല്ലാ സന്തോഷം.